Dad used to take me and my brother to the Everton game when we were younger. Something just didn't quite click with me. And I had a neighbour down the street who had a ticket for the Kop, asked me if I wanted to go. Went and stood on the Kop, and that was it. Just fell in love with it, singing all the songs. I remember the atmosphere more than anything. I was more obsessed with what was going on around me in the Kop and how they were singing and the songs they were singing, and that was what made me fall in love with Liverpool. I got bad injuries, broke my leg a few times when I was coming through, and I was coming back and they'd offered me a professional contract. And then I broke my leg again 3 games later, and I thought, this is just a nightmare situation. Just before I went down for the operation, the surgeon said, listen, you might never play football again. When I come round, he just said, I've never given myself a 10 out of 10 before, but this is a 10 out of 10. He says, you'll play again, I can guarantee that. And then the next day, Rick Parry and Steve Highway came in with a 3-year contract and said, we back you, we believe in you. That meant the world to me to get back to thank them for putting that trust in me. Gerard Houllier left and Rafa Benitez came in. And I remember getting a call from my agent just saying, he wants you to stay, thinks you've had a great season last year. And I was thinking, he's just been Valencia manager, how does he know about me? And suddenly I got a boost from that.
Barros, he's replaced by Stephen Warnock, for whom this is an English Premier League debut. He's a 22-year-old, left-sided player from Ormskirk, just outside Liverpool, who spent all of last season on loan at Coventry City.
The way the rooming list used to work at Liverpool was, so the 2 goalkeepers had always roomed together, but the left back and the left midfielder had roomed together, so you knew the team the night before the game. So I was in with Luis Garcia, so I thought, I'm playing tomorrow. So I thought about 10:30, right, lights out, go to sleep. Luis Garcia had other things to do. He was on Skype to his family back home till 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'm up thinking, it's the biggest game of my life tomorrow. I want to just go to sleep, and I didn't know how to tell him because he was a senior player at the time. He'd just come in, big money signing, and I just remember waking up the next morning thinking, I'm not ready for this game. I think I got subbed at half time. I played okay, but just not to me full potential. I still remember it to this day, and it was just so loud, and you walk out to You'll Never Walk Alone, and just the roar that comes up. And if I'd played 1 game for Liverpool, that'd have been enough for me.
Liverpool looking for another one. Finnan! Stephen Warnock scores for the first time ever as a Liverpool player.
For me, that was everything, though, because growing up, standing on the Kop and the noise it makes when you score, and I think you can see from the celebration how much it meant to me. We'd have a squad list up of 18 players who had made the squad. I got into that squad, started ringing everyone I've made the squad, get your flights booked, get your tickets booked and things like that. I think it was about 2 or 3 hours later, I just got a phone call from the assistant manager. We've made a mistake on the squad list, you weren't meant to be in it. I thought it was a bit cowardly not for the manager to make that phone call. It was the biggest night in Liverpool's history, arguably the biggest night of my career, because it's not often you make a Champions League final. There was a swap deal going on between myself and Lucas Neal on the last day of the transfer window. My agent had rang me and said, right, we're on our way, let's go. Met him at the service station, and we got a phone call from Liverpool just saying, deal's off, Rafa doesn't want you to go. So I came in the next day, sat in the treatment room, and he just said, what are you doing here? He thought I'd gone. He knew he wasn't getting Lucas Neal, but he thought I'd left anyway. Walked straight into the changing room, got on the phone to my agent and said, make the deal happen in January, get it done. Because again, I knew I wasn't wanted, so that was why it was so easy for me to leave. Probably one of the easiest decisions I had to make. The quality of players that we had in that Blackburn team was just incredible. The likes of Tugay, Benny McCarthy, Brad Friedel, Ryan Nelson, Brett Emerton. I mean, these were all international players and a very strong team.
Brilliant goal for Blackburn. Stephen Warnock gets his first goal for Blackburn Rovers since his move from Liverpool, and that was top quality. Stephen Warnock, a former Liverpool player, carrying out a bouquet of flowers to mark the 20th anniversary of the Hillsborough disaster. Nice gesture, well appreciated by those wearing red and white.
One of my ex-teammates at youth level. Paul Harrison lost family members at Hillsborough. And I remember just walking from the halfway line with the reef down towards the Kop, and the Kop suddenly sort of rose onto its feet, and they were all applauding, and I just had tears running down my face because I knew what it meant to the fans, and I knew what it meant to the football club. So it's still one of the proudest moments of my career. It was one of them moments I'll never forget. Mark Hughes said to me, he says, you need to get fitter and you need to start running forward more. I've seen it in you, I know you can do it because I've played on the wing for Liverpool. And he just said, I want you to overlap as much as you can, get forward. And suddenly I found myself in the box more often than not.
Stephen Warnock rewarded for all those forward forays.
It was a massive decision to leave Blackburn. It was the hardest decision in my career, but it was one that was sort of pushed by England's ambitions.
And it's emphatically dispatched by Stephen Warnock, and it's a glimmer of hope for Aston Villa.
Going to such a huge club, and they had the likes of James Milner, Ashley Young, Luke Young, Heskey, Von der Haar. When you're looking through it, we had a big core of English squad members within the team. We needed a good team spirit. We needed the players to stick together, and we did that, and it was great.
And Stephen Warnock has provided the finish.
Gary McAllister just came and said, Kenny's rang up, he wants you on loan with a view to signing you for Liverpool. I'll do anything it takes, I'll take a wage cut, anything, just make it happen. To go back there, and I knew I was at a better level than when I'd left the club, and I felt I had a lot to prove. Villa turned round and were quite awkward about it in the end, where they wanted a loan fee. They tried to make it difficult for me to go back there, and it fell through. I was football obsessed. I loved going in every day to training, trained hard every day. The worry was that the days would be empty, but since I've sort of come away from it and gone into the media side of things, it's given me another drive, it's given me another passion and something to look forward to every week.
And a chance for Sissoko to double the lead, thwarted initially by Pope, who then did enough at the second time of asking as well.
Benteke through, and Pope makes a wonderful eyeball-to-eyeball block.
Sturridge looking for room. Pope has to produce the save, not for the first time today.
My brother was a goalie, funnily enough, and he's about 4 years older than me, so before I was old enough to play, I'd always be watching him on the weekends, so kind of got into it that way. And then I started playing football, and I'd play with his mates, and I'd be the youngest one, so I kind of stuck in goal. So I was in the Ipswich Academy. I was only about 10, and I got offered like 6-week trial, as you do, and felt like I was on trial for about 4 months. It's something that you dreamt about, and that would be the career path that you would pick. That'd be the one. Getting released from Ipswich, I think it's just what I needed at the time, just a whole fresh start. It was a great decision to go there in the end, to leave all your friends, and it was a difficult decision at the time, but I think one that I felt was for the best. I've been at college a few years and kind of been offered trials at different stages, and nothing had even come about. So when this one came about, it's just, if it happens kind of thing. So I was all ready to go to university at Nottingham. But 2 days, went really well, and after that, I think they watched me play a few more games for Bury Town, and then at the end of the season said we'll go after your contract. I realised that I was going to be on loan for a majority of my first years at Charlton, really. I think I had a good outlook going into each loan, thinking, what can I take from this loan, what can I learn, and like I say, putting myself in the shop window, not for Charlton, but potentially clubs higher up the pyramid than the one I was on loan at. Got in the team at Charlton and played quite well. Obviously we ended up getting relegated, so it was a really tough experience. Plus side of that is probably the club wanted to sell me, being an asset, and so I kind of worked in my favour. I think that way when Burnley were interested, move happened quite quickly, really. The first day that I signed, I said, you're not cracked it, now you've signed. Don't come here and think, you've signed for £1 million or whatever and sit on your laurels and be happy. You've got to come here and push yourself and push the other goalkeepers. Being in and around it every day training, I think that improved me a lot with Premier League players. And then being able to watch Premier League matches on the weekend live and watch how Tom and Paul operated in the week, it helped me and gave me ideas. I think something I've tried to do throughout my career is pick little bits off different people and take bits of advice and build kind of your own game around that.
Hung up towards MacArthur and clutched by Heaton acrobatically.
He's hurt because me got in his way, Peter, and so he didn't get the kind of fall, the landing he would have wished for.
Yeah, your heart rate raises a little bit.
We have Nick Pope on the bench, 25-year-old who came up from Charlton a couple of seasons ago.
Is this going to be the moment, make my Premier League debut? Is that something, as a kid you can only dream of, to play in the best league in the world?
The England goalkeeper looks as though he's going to play no further part.
Yeah, you go on the pitch and then, take a deep breath and say, this is me now, and I've got to get through the next hour and show what you're about.
So this is a big moment for Nick Pope. It's a Premier League debut. Good luck. Here's Townsend. Got his shot away and Pope has made another comforting save. Kapai! Beaten out by Pope. That'll do.
When you're 10 games in or 15 games in, they're the only Premier League games I've ever played, so I was still proving myself, proving could I be consistent, or proving was I good enough to sustain the levels of form. So I never really had a chance to even stop and think about it or rest on my laurels.
Vardy! Really good save again by Pope. They're taking on all comers and defied by Pope.
Didn't really have time until probably the end of the season to think about kind of how well it went and what had happened. Spot in Europe, so that was a massive day for us, and the atmosphere at the turf that day was unbelievable. Yeah, we were in Paphos in Cyprus on my holidays, so just relaxing, and kind of look at my phone and I've been selected for the 2018 World Cup squad, and it was like thousands of texts and missed calls from everyone else from back home. As a child, you'd never dream about it. It was something that was so far away, especially for myself. Obviously being at college and planning on going to university, it's kind of a surreal moment. Great thing for me as well, the level of training was so high, playing with world-class players day in, day out, training with them. Can only improve you as a player. Obviously a big thing for me, wanted to be part of the European campaign that achieved the previous season. Obviously didn't last too long. Obviously 15 minutes into the first game of what should be a real massive highlight of my career, playing European football, turned out to be a massive low. Something that took some time to adjust to and accept that you try and look at the bigger picture, being injured and looking after yourself, and and saying to yourself, you've got to come back and be part of that again, and come back, be stronger. So come back and to get through some games, it was you felt like normal again, really, in a weird way. Gave me a real boost to get back training every day and playing the games. We're thinking about we're staying in the Premier League, so that's the goal for everyone at the football club. And I think when you're out of the team, make sure if you do get opportunity, you're ready to do my best for the team and the club. So that'd be the main goal from now till the end of the season.
When you are a manager, of course, one of your goals is to be a manager in Premier League. It's the best competition in the world, no doubts about that. And of course, if you want to compete with in the best competition of the world, if you want to compete with the best coaches in the world, you have to do everything what you can to be a manager in Premier League.
Hello, Tony Jones and Andy Walker, your commentators, for a fixture that sees new Hull head coach Marco Silva take charge of a league game in England for the very first time. And Andy, the new man has a daunting task to try and ensure that Hull pull clear of trouble.
Yeah, but he has to have a positive attitude, and I think he has.
Well, I think Everton have been brave to the extent that he has come in not on the back of winning things or of being sort of Premier League proven necessarily, but they saw the potential. And while it ultimately didn't work out in terms of results at Hull, I think people had seen enough to suggest that there is a real manager in there who, given a bit more time and given players that he could improve, could have that transformative effect that I think a club like Everton especially need.
With Portuguese lineage, Marco Silva already onto his third club in England, some 20 months after announcing himself in this country, charged with managing the highest levels of expectation.
First, you are talking about the most competitive league in the world. All the teams, they have some key players, and they can decide the match in some important moments.
And it's Origi! 95 minutes plus in front of the cup!
You are challenged every time. Fantastic managers also. The atmosphere in all the stadiums are fantastic, and all these details makes the Premier League and each match really competitive, and always a big challenge for you as a manager to be better and to can compete in high level.
Sigurdsson tries his luck and brilliantly finishes in the top left-hand corner.
It's very tough. You have to be very consistent in this league, and you have to put in a very good run of games where you're getting 3 points almost every week.
It's come out to Coleman, who makes sure in style.
You can see that he's football mad. I can imagine he just, lives football. That's just the impression I get from him.
Big passion with the game, with the football, passion to understand everything what is part of the game. Even when I was a football player, and I'm trying to understand many things. Why the coach are asking one thing or the other, and of course that passion start to growing, and after I became a manager and start to have my own idea and start to trying to improve this idea every season, every day, is one of the things make me and demand for myself to be better and better.
This is Luca Dean! Everton flex their muscle again. They have a 3-goal lead again.
This is a guy who can adapt, who can work with players, with clubs, and who doesn't necessarily come in and think, I have one particular blueprint.
He wants us to play good football. He wants us to play with plenty of energy, which you see, the top teams all have about them.
Winning the ball back quickly, sharp, playing forward has been his kind of instructions throughout.
I like to play attractive football, offensive football, but I always know also without a solid team, you cannot do that, because it's one of the keys for you to attack well. You have to be solid and keep good organization.
He's given us what we feel we need to go and do that, and then obviously if we go and get the results and put in the performances, then we'll enjoy ourselves.
Dina's long throw inside the area, flicked on dangerously. Jagielka! Phil Jagielka is the man that provides the breakthrough.
He's very organised. He wants to work hard, press from the front and play good football. He wants to entertain the fans, and of course the most important thing is to get results.
A club of Everton's size and ability needs their big players, or the biggest players that they have, to kind of be totally reliable, consistent performers. If they're not playing to their very best, if they're not consistent, then they will pick up some results that their fans will find very disappointing.
Rondon underneath it when the ball comes down! Astonishing! The turnaround is complete! Rondon and Perez wreaking havoc in the second half!
I think he is finding that pressure is being ramped up, and I think there is perhaps less patience for him than it would have been at a manager who's already shown that he can have real sustained success in the Premier League, or at a club of Everton's size and ambition. But it's now down to him to prove the doubters wrong.
The atmosphere can be the key for us to getting better and to getting stronger at home, because they can be the key, of course. After we have to give them what they expect and what they want.
Sigurdsson swinging it in. Good save again, Richarlison. Everton strike first.
We are here to develop the team, but at least at the end the results will be the key for everything.
I always like to dance. I always like to, joke about with my friends.
Not so sure about the dance, but the movement was brilliant.
My family had so much different music, and the culture which I grew up in Birmingham was so diverse as well. there's a lot of similarities. So I try to take things from football and apply that to the music industry as well.
Music and sport often go hand in hand, and for Liverpool striker Daniel Sturridge, he's experiencing the best of both worlds as the head of his own music label.
All right. 2016, I started like buying my own equipment, and I had my own little setup going on at my house. And then I started the Dudley Road Records officially at the end of 2017. So it's been over a year now that it's been going well as well. I really enjoy it.
A chance meeting while partying in Los Angeles gave Sturridge the opportunity to sign up his first overseas act.
I'm Kelly.
Gregory. This is my D. I'm Cardigan.
So the Wave, I was at a party in LA, just chilling, literally vibing, doing my own little thing, you feel me, in the summertime. And then they were performing at the party.
Yeah. Say I won't, I'ma hit you later on the phone. Answer me with nothing.
And I just posted them up on my Instagram, like these guys are cool, put them on my Instagram story and whatever.
It was crazy because our song jumped 40,000 plays, and we're just like, that's weird. Where did that come from? Then we seen that Daniel had it in his, in his Instagram story. So we were just like, yo, are you trying to get in on this? Because you're making our stuff blow up. You know what I'm saying? So it just makes sense that you just go full investment. Let's win.
I said, I'd like to help you guys out if you're interested, whatever, Obviously, I have a record label going on and so on and so forth. And they was like, all right, cool. So we got to talking, and then maybe 2-3 months later when I returned to the UK, they signed me the record label.
No, my baby, keep the backyard moving like go. I swear she feel like someone bring down my emotional.
The group style, diverse, eclectic. We do a lot of different things. We all have very different backgrounds, culturally, musically. So it's like a nice melting pot of just the best things we can find to give to the world.
It's in between pop and Afro beats, Caribbean type music, I'd say. It's hard to put a genre on them because they do so many different things. So that's what I love about them.
Making love on the terrace, yeah.
Oh no.
Not just an investor in the group, the 29-year-old England international also takes a hands-on role in making the music.
Oh, it's
Are you up for the challenge? Yeah.
I do a lot. I organise everything from the PR to the music videos, to the photo shoots, to the clothes, to the studios, to the arrangement of songs, to helping write songs, to production, everything. I'm involved in it all. I love it though because this is something I've done for close to 10 years, messing around, but then really took it seriously.
Big things in my way.
The budding music mogul clearly enjoys watching the growth of his American protégés, but when it comes to comparing the feeling of making music and the joy of hitting the back of the net, there's no contest.
Nah, the feeling ain't the same, and scoring a goal is always better, for sure. And I think maybe when we have a hit song, maybe that feeling would be different. But I'd say, as far as scoring a goal, man, there's no comparison. You can't compare the two, it's not even close.
Is that a rap?
It's not about being more famous. Oh, I want to go to these places, so that's why I'm doing it. I'm doing this for the love. I'm doing this because I believe I can help people be successful. And I believe I've got a good ear for music too. So, I hope that this will be something that I can do for a very long time.